Silence in anticipation. Okay, good morning. It's 9 o'clock in Tuolumne County. It is November 12th, and it's time for the regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors. So we will call that to order. In honor of Veterans Day, we will ask our Colonel Rodefer to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you.
Okay. It's time for oral communication. A member of the public may speak on any item not on the printed agenda. No action will be taken by the board. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak at this time? My turn. Good morning to the Board of Supervisors and to members of the community who may be watching or listening on the live streaming. My name is Randy Handel. I'm a citizen of Tuolumne County, and I am the #1 supporter of the Columbia College Community Chorus and John Carter. On December 6th through 8th, they will be having their annual presentation of Sounds of the Season. I put a card on your desk, and I'll leave some cards in the back of the room at break. This is a tremendous way to begin the holiday season and to get yourself in the right spirit. You get to listen to some incredible music. You actually get to experience some incredible music. You get to participate, and you get to experience the work of the amazing, incomparable John Carter. So I encourage you to be there. I'll be there, and I'll look for you all sign in on my sign-in sheet. Thank you very much. Anybody else from the public like to speak at this time? Seeing none, we will go to the consent calendar and ask the clerk to read the consent calendar.
Minutes of the meeting held on October 15th and October 21st, 2013. Resolution approving an agreement between CAL FIRE and Tuolumne County Fire Department for the distribution of matching grant volunteer fire assistance program funds. Consideration of approving the revised Mental Health Services Act Program Coordinator Classification Specification, new classification specification for behavioral health clinician 1, 2, and 3 for bargaining units and salary range elimination of the behavioral health clinician 1, 2, and senior class specifications.
Okay, any member of the board wish to pull any item from the consent calendar? Seeing none, we'll ask for public comment on the consent calendar. Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Rodefer, a second by Supervisor Gray. Any final comments from the board? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay, would you read item 4, please?
Consideration of approving a certificate of recognition commending George Segarini for 17 years of service as the President and CEO of Tuolumne County Chamber of Commerce.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, it's my pleasure to introduce this item on your behalf. George Segarini has been a fixture in Tuolumne County for almost 3 decades now as a business owner, everything from real estate to jewelry to gift shops to restaurants. George has been involved in businesses in Tuolumne County since 1981. However, he's perhaps best known for his time with the Chamber of Commerce. He's just ending a 17-year run as the full-time president and CEO of the Chamber. I put in here some of his greatest contributions during his time with the Chamber that include promoting major transportation projects such as the East Sonora Bypass. I remember George even helping to draft presentations, listen to dry run presentations as we went to the CTC. We came up with the 3-phase financing program that we're now seeing come to fruition years ago. Giving the Chamber a voice on several local government committees, helping the Chamber be more purposefully engaged in government activities through its GAC, Government Affairs Committee, engaging the Chamber in local political issues, which includes hosting election forums, ensuring a smooth transition from the Tuolumne Economic Development Corporation and Tuolumne County Economic Prosperity Council to the new Tuolumne County Economic Development Authority, And I want to emphasize this one because this could have been really bad if there had not been that understanding and cooperation with the chamber and with those two other entities. And George was there with, I have a picture of George with his pom-poms on saying, go for it. This is the right thing to do at the right time. And without his support, it could have been very difficult to see that transition occur. And in collaboration with the Economic Development Authority, SCORE, Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, he also helped to form the Business Alliance of Tuolumne County. So the county is thankful for the good relationship that we've had with the chamber. Much of that is to George's credit, and it only seems fitting to recognize him for his years of service to this community in general, but specifically with the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Gray.
Yeah, listening to those accomplishments, he did leave one out, and that's the announcer of the Sonora High basketball games. I think you did a great job there. Remember, went to many games and always appreciated the job you did, along with all the other stuff, George. Thank you.
Anybody else on the board like to comment? Go ahead.
I'd just like to thank George for his service. In my short tenure, I've been a participant in the Government Affairs Council, and very, very important group. They do a lot for this community in terms of advocacy throughout the political arena outside the county as well as within. Thanks, George.
Okay. Before we vote on this or get a motion on this, I'll ask any member of the public who'd like to speak on this subject. Okay, the chair would entertain a motion. Oops. Okay. Don't be bashful.
Good morning, and thank you very much. My name is Bertha Underhill, and I had the privilege and the honor to work with George on membership promotion for the Tuolumne County Chamber of Commerce, and I've seen all of you at the mixers that we have every month, enjoying yourself and bringing gifts. George was just wonderful as far as the business community was concerned. He was out there, he was, developing business, and I can personally say, as an employee of the Chamber of Commerce, it was just a real pleasure. George and I worked off and on for several years. I left a couple of times, and every time I came back because George needed help. And he did. I just want you to know that he's done everything that he possibly can to develop the business community, and I will miss him. I'm no longer in that membership promotion capacity, but I really, truly enjoyed George, and I will see him again. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the public? The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the certificate.
Oh, I have one more. Okay. Got to be quick.
Thank you. My name is Paula Otier, citizen of Tuolumne County. I met George about 12 years ago, and I viewed him as my public enemy number one. I didn't think we would ever agree on anything. But over the years, I've come to know George, and perception is a wonderful thing. But what it comes down to is the person and integrity and honesty, and that's who George is. And he's become one of my trusted friends. And I just want to thank him for everything and for having an open mind and listening and not prejudging. So thank you, George.
Thank you very much. Last call. Oh, come on. You want to say something, Larry Cope. I see you do. Oh, all right. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the certificate of recognition commending George Segarini for 17 years of service as the President and CEO of the Tuolumne County Chamber of Commerce.
I hear a second.
Second.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Brennan. Any final comments from the board? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. George, would you come up here? Usually it's a shocking experience to do this. I just want to say something. I don't know when I first met George exactly, but I was still living in North Carolina before I came back to California after retirement. I was involved in the Bear Valley Music Festival, and he did these, What's Going On in Tuolumne County, I think was the title of the show on Sunday morning. I'd come down and record one of those with George. And I did it every year. And when I came back to California, I continued to do it every year. It was just a great experience. George has so I've known him a long time, and I have to say that George has contributed immensely to this community. It's a privilege to be able to read this certificate and to present it to George. It says, Certificate of Recognition, Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors. George Segarini has dedicated 17 years of service as the President and CEO of the Tuolumne County Chamber of Commerce and many other contributions to the community. Therefore, on behalf of the residents of Tuolumne County, the Board of Supervisors hereby congratulates and recognizes George Segarini. George, thank you very much. Thank you. And George, we have something you can hang on the wall, too. You can frame that and hang it on the wall. George, we appreciate everything.
Thank you very much.
Great citizen. Appreciate it. And you are allowed to say a few words.
Okay. You know, I've been before this microphone a lot of times over the years. Don't think I've been more nervous than I am right now. But, thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's kind of odd receiving an award for the job that I love doing, but I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I guess I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the many businessmen and women that have participated in the Chamber over the years. These are folks that have volunteered their time because they believed in the mission of the Chamber of Commerce and the business community, and it's really those folks that kept the Chamber alive and well. I would also be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the wonderful staff that I've had over 17 years at the Chamber. I don't suppose any of you remember Butch Newland. She was my first administrative assistant. Actually, I think we called her secretary at that time. I don't think she was an administrative assistant. But she was a wonderful lady, and eventually she moved away from the community. And throughout the years, I've just been blessed with some wonderful people working in my office right up until today, when I've worked many years with Monique and Michelle, Angie, now currently in the office, responding to all the concerns of the people that call the Chamber of Commerce. People think that the Chamber of Commerce has an answer for everything. It doesn't necessarily have to be about business, but no matter what the question is, those gals always responded to it, and I appreciate that. And I won't be going away. I'm going to be around. I'll be working at Christopher's Restaurante in downtown Sonora, so I invite all of you to come by and say hello. By the way, today is my son's birthday. Chris is, 29 years old today? Is that what yeah, I wish. Anyhow, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, George. And happy birthday, Chris. Okay. Ask the clerk to read item 5.
Consideration of approving a certificate of recognition commending the Auditor Controller's Office for being awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, again, pleasure to present this for the 5th time. The Auditor Controller's Office has been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. And this is mainly focused on excellence in the preparation of the county's comprehensive annual financial reports. Again, this is no small feat. There's a lot of jurisdictions that won't even attempt to go do this because of the rigorous standards that are set forth. You know, what does this mean? It means to the board and our residents they can have faith and confidence in its auditor's office, in the accuracy of the financial reports it issues. And this recognition could also help secure lower interest rates should the county ever pursue outside financing, because people have that kind of trust in our financial reporting. So my part, again, Debbie, good job, and I know it's the team, and I know you feel that way, but Mr. Chairman, for all those reasons, it's appropriate to recognize our auditor controller.
It's a team, but it's also leadership. And so I'd like to just add that comment. Now, any member of the board want to comment on this?
You know, I know it's special, but it happens every year, so.
Groundhog Day comes in November.
I think we're really lucky.
I know we're really lucky.
Okay. Any member of the public wish to comment on this? Chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve we approve the citation for recognizing the award from the National Auditors Association for our Auditor Controller's Office.
Second. Okay, motion by Supervisor Rutherford, second by Royce. Any final comment from anybody? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Miss Batista, would you come up? This is like Groundhog Day.
Or Christmas.
Or Christmas. Well, Thanksgiving comes first. And we are thankful that you're here and you do such a good job. I know it's you and your staff, but leadership is important. Let me read this. Certificate of Recognition, Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors. The Tuolumne County Auditor Controller's Office has been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, of the United States and Canada. The certificate is the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by its recipient. This award signifies that the Board of Supervisors and county residents can have faith and confidence in its Auditor Controller's Office and the accuracy of the comprehensive annual financial reports it issues. Therefore, on behalf of the residents of Tuolumne County, the Board of Supervisors hereby congratulates and recognizes Auditor Controller Debbie. This is going to have to be fixed. We cancel this whole thing. And I didn't catch that when I signed it either. Debbie Russell Batista and her entire staff for their outstanding work and receipt of this prestigious award from the GFOA. We'll have to have this redone, but that's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. Would you like to say a few words?
And again, this truly is, every single person in the office contributes, whether it was Rebecca doing the property taxes or Jim doing the stats, Cindy doing the work in process, Joyce doing the financial statements, the people doing the accounts payable, and they pull and look at all of the different examples and testing everything. This could not be done by one person. It really is the whole group and the whole team. So thank you, and I do plan to get it for as long as I'm in office. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Well, now the fun part of the meeting is over. We've got to go to business. Would you read item 6, please?
Consideration of approving the following on the Tuolumne County Commission on Aging, appointing Laura Lee Brown Marcus, declaring vacancies for Stan Forrest, Jim Grinnell, Saladios, William Dorif, Rebecca Goodwin, Richard Marcus, Linda Olson, and directing the clerk to send letters of appreciation and post notices of vacancy.
Okay. Any comment from the board? Public? Chair would entertain a motion.
Chairman, I move on staff recommendations.
Motion by Supervisor Gray, a second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comment? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Would you read item 7, please?
Consideration of approving the lease purchase agreement with the McDonald 1994 Revocable Trust for a .45 acre county-owned parcel located on North Sunshine Road.
Mr. Pedro?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I know your board and the Economic Development Authority Board have been looking to diversify our economy in Tuolumne County beyond our traditional, our traditional base of timber and recreation. And one of those ways you've looked to do that is to higher tech manufacturing type businesses. And it was quoted in the paper and it is in the memo, one of our hidden gems is McDonald Machining, MMI, that's here in Sonora today. MMI specializes in machining metals and parts used by businesses throughout the world. Attachment A has some excerpts from their website, and perhaps if they wouldn't mind at some point, they can get up, Bill and Melinda could get up and say a little bit about their company. That's an appropriate moment to brag a little bit. But MMI is in the process, desirous of expanding, but they need additional land and building space to do so. The most cost-effective way for them to expand is the county property owned just to their east. That's currently owned by our ambulance, by the county through our ambulance department. Houses a number of things. They're interested in a 0.45 acre portion of the overall 1.2 acre parcel that includes industrial buildings. It's important to note, why are we doing this lease purchase agreement? This property currently serves as collateral to a $1 million loan with the State Department of Housing and Community Development. We had, for over a year, tried to work with the State Department of Housing and Community Development to see if they would accept some alternative collateral and find another way to allow the McDonald's to purchase this property straight up immediately, but those efforts failed, so that led us to this lease purchase arrangement. The loan that we have through the Department of Housing and Community Development comes to an end in April of 2018. That is the magic to the lease purchase, the term of our lease purchase agreement with MMI. That lease purchase agreement, again, calls for 0.45 acres of property and buildings, which have been valued at $290,000. Again, the owners, Bill and Melinda McDonald. The agreement is actually in the name of the McDonald 1994 Revocable Trust, are willing to enter into this lease purchase agreement, which is attachment A of your staff report, that calls for them to make monthly lease payments of approximately $4,300 per month between December 2003 and April 2018. At the end of the lease period, that's where they would pay whatever the difference is that is still outstanding on the principal, and then the property would convey over to MMI. So that's the nuts and bolts of the agreement. Excited to see a local business have the opportunity to expand and that we can be part of that expansion. It's good for the economy, which is what your board has been all about. So I want to just extend special thanks for perseverance and hard work on the part of the McDonald's, our EDA director, Larry Cope, Maureen Frank, Deputy CAO in my office, Carlin Drivdahl, Deputy County Counsel, and Marilyn Fitzsimmons, our county surveyor. So with that, Mr. Chair, I would recommend that your board approve the attached lease agreement with the McDonald's.
Is there any question on this?
No, maybe just a comment.
Okay.
I truly believe that a key to the success of our county is going to be in the high-tech industry. So whatever we can do to help move that forward is where I think we should be going. So I'm in favor of this agreement.
Okay. Any other comment from the board?
Supervisor, I would just concur and really want to thank all of the parties involved in sticking with this and finding a solution. This is a shining example of what it's like when everyone comes together and it works out. And so, thank you.
Any other comments? Members of the public, any comment?
Good morning. My name is Bill McDonald. I've been a citizen of Tuolumne County for about 30 years now, and that's when we moved our business up, my wife, Melinda. We started off coming in here 30 years ago on like a flatbed truck, and we had 1,000 square feet. We had a couple months worth of work from the Bay Area, the high-tech industry. We were doing disk drives. At that time, they were 14-inch, 80-megabyte hard drives. So that you can see the high tech we came from, but we have expanded since then. So we started off with 1,000 square feet and 2 employees, and we'd sit around a heater and try and get warm in the morning and start business. And that was 30 years ago, and we've expanded into a 8,000 square foot building We're currently in 23,000 square foot building. We started with 2 employees, and we're now up to over 35. Our high-tech industry, we really appreciate Tuolumne County. It's been kind of a mixed blessing, a double-edged sword. Larry Cope and I have worked on several concepts of this, but you know, when you get employees and you get an industry in this county, it's kind of, we don't have a lot of people to pick from, but when we do find good employees, they're solid and they last a long time. We just gave a 30-year award to our first employee. Next year we're giving another 30-year award to our second employee. So we still have high retention. Half of our staff are young kids that come out of high school, no skills. We train them up, computer programming machines, things of this nature. Our industries currently are working in some of the aerospace industries, in microwave communications, power supplies, which is medical, oncology, and then, of course, our biggest customer in industry right now is surgical robotics and those type of tech equipment. So our biggest expansion and what we're looking forward to in this new building is to help. We've kind of hit all the walls in our buildings, and it's really difficult at this point in time to move this kind of equipment and the infrastructure with our power supplies and things like this. And so being able to expand really nearby is very important, so we can expand some of our non-essential equipment out of the building so we can bring in the more essential equipment that we need to run this business. We've probably doubled in size in the last 4 years has been our expansion mode. We're kind of in a holding pattern currently, but we're looking for through 14 and 15 to grow into a higher platform, shall we say, in what we're doing. So we at MMI would like to thank the board and Larry Cope and everybody else responsible in helping us be successful in Tuolumne County. Thank you.
Any other comments? A couple of questions, Mr. Pedro. We're going to get lease payments in effect. Where does that money go?
It'll go into the ambulance fund. That's where the assets actually resides.
Okay. So this wouldn't go into a fund where the board could use it for some of our other capital expenditures?
No, but the ambulance, they do have capital needs as well, but usually those funds stay right with the fund that generated it.
Okay. Okay. And then the property was valued at $290,000 by our assessor, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we're selling it for $290,001?
Yes.
Okay, this is just a business question, and I like this, but I just find it a little bit of a problem for me that this lease purchase arrangement, basically for 4 years, is in effect a zero interest mortgage. I'm not sure that's the way we should be doing business. It's a little late in the game, but I'm just making that for future reference. I just think we have to be better than that. Okay? With that, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'd be happy as a EDA delegate to make a motion based on our recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion from Supervisor Rice, second from Supervisor Rotifer. Any final comments? Anything from the public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, item 8, please.
Consideration of adopting a resolution approving the 2013 through 2015 Tuolumne County Attorneys Association Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay. Mr. Chair, members of the board, this is actually the 4th agreement from our labor units that your board has seen, at least publicly. The first 3 were your executive confidential group, your management group, and your physician group. This agreement closely models those agreements, where the biggest areas of focus are where the employees in this unit are agreeing to contribute 6.25% of the employer's share of PERS cost That's still going to be subject to some contract changes with PERS and a vote of all those employees in that unit. And as that agreement comes into effect, this will be some months down the line, then members of that unit would receive a 1% COLA, which would only partially offset that cost. So this is another example of our employees really contributing for our long-term financial stability of the county. There's other provisions related to personal leave, family medical leave that do more to put caps on those benefits, and prior references to prior negotiated concessions have been removed. So this is fairly consistent with the agreements that you've seen previously.
Comments from the board? Questions?
Just a quick one. Just a thanks to all of our employees for bearing with us through all these hard times and staying dedicated to the county and providing good services. And a lot of people have made concessions, and it is appreciated.
Any other comments? Mr. Pedro, looking at this, on this educational reimbursement section here, something just bothers me because it's a little bit loose. And it talks about in-service training program provided courses are approved by the department, head and county administrator, prior registration and proof of passing grades and official receipts. What's acceptable in proof of passing grades? That's a rather loose standard.
Yeah,
Does that mean they get a D or a C or a?
It would be a C is what we've taken. There's an extensive policy that's been written behind this because this has been a subject of focus of the board, prior boards, and there's an extensive write-up and a process that we go through. Basically, this says that if there's value to these classes to the county of Tuolumne, then the county will invest in those classes. We don't just pay for degrees, and we want to make sure they're meaningful, beneficial to the county, and that they do indeed pass those classes. So there's a lot more body to it, but it's outside of this agreement, and it pertains to every bargaining unit with respect to this educational reimbursement.
Okay, I'll just ask Andy when she returns if I can see that.
I'd be glad to get it for you because I administer it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Any comment from the public? Chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the 2013-15 Tuolumne County Attorneys Association Memorandum of Understanding.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Supervisor Gray, a second from Supervisor Brennan. Any final comments from the board? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. So let's see, we're at item 9.
Consideration of adopting a resolution approving the 2013 through 15 Tuolumne County Health Care Association Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this MOU is very much similar to the one that you just approved and the ones that came before it. The main pieces are the PERS share of employer costs, the same 6.25%. The real difference with this MOU is that it does provide for, instead of a 1% COLA, a 4.5% COLA. Again, at the time that the employees begin to pay the employer share of costs, that's when the COLA would kick in. The defining difference here is that the members of this group are nearly 100% offset with state and federal reimbursements. So it's hard to make a case that it's going to benefit, the general fund or be a strain on the general fund. And yet at the same time, again, this does not cover the full cost of what these employees are taking on in expense. So they too are contributing, regardless of the color of the money, be it federal, state, or local. They're willing to, to do this on behalf of county government and just good stewardship. There's also caps, slightly different, but similar caps in the areas of personal leave and the Family Medical Leave Act. There's only one specific pay differential called for in here, and that's 5% for our behavioral health clinicians. A very critical position for the functioning of the behavioral health department, and that's for recruitment and retention purposes. And again, all prior concession language has been stricken from this MOU.
Any questions? In public comment? Chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the MOU with the Healthcare Association.
Motion by Supervisor Rutherford, second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comments? Board? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay. We'd like to go to item 10, please.
Consideration of adopting a resolution in support of the Tuolumne Stanislaus Integrated Regional Water Management Plan.
Good morning. Daniel Richardson, Deputy County Administrator. We've been under the Integrated Regional Water Management process for several years now. It's a process whereby this group can receive grant funds under Proposition 84 that was passed by the voters, I believe back in 2006. This item was brought before the Board of Supervisors previously. We decided to send it to the Natural Resources Committee, where this was discussed whether or not the county should join the IRWIM process, continue with it. And the Natural Resources Committee did. They recommended that we do move forward with joining the IRWIM, continuing our participation in that process. There were a couple of concerns that were voiced by the Board of Supervisors that the Natural Resources Committee did discuss. One, the science contained in the plan is outdated, and the second, whether or not by participating in the IRWIM plan, whether or not the county would have another hurdle for development projects needing to comply with the CEQA laws. And so in the write-up, we've addressed how these could be taken care of in the future, that by participating in the IRWIM, the county could decide, could participate in amending the plan and make sure that good science is included. And the County Council did provide some information on whether or not, how this does not or may not provide additional hurdles and when someone is trying to go through the CEQA process and other environmental processes pursuant to a development permit. It doesn't preclude them from suing the county, but it would minimize their ability. So I'll let County Council discuss that if you have additional questions on that. But overall, we do recommend us moving forward with participating in the IRWIM plan.
Ms. Carrillo, I think he threw you under the bus.
He did. We discussed this at the last meeting, so I don't know. I don't really have much more to add. And I do think that what Daniel stated in his memo is accurate. This is not going to require the county to do additional CEQA review. However, because the county would adopt it, it could be used by an opponent of a project to say it requires certain things in the environmental review process. So it's a possibility. But it would be a possibility if any other public entity adopted the plan and the project was involved with that other entity. So I think that sort of hopefully is the same conversation we had at the last meeting regarding this issue.
Okay. Any comment from the members of the board? Supervisor Rutherford?
Just to kind of clarify, mostly for the public, because I think the board understands it, but the IRWIM process is emerging as the state's vehicle of choice for grant funding, and in the area of water, sewer, and it's not just limited to projects that TUD or some other utility district might want to do. It also has to do with things like flood control and some projects that the county may wish to pursue grant funding for. I will be the first to say that the IRWIM process was a rather sloppy process, I guess is the best way to say it. But it got to a good result, albeit over a considerable period of time. And it is refining itself. There are other IRWIMs that the local one is looking at to try and improve our processes. And by approving this, we in no way commit ourselves to the JPA. What we're saying is that we approve the plan that was submitted with the projects that were submitted. And that gives us the opportunity to continue to participate in that process at whatever level that we choose to do. Whether that is on their water, refresh my memory, Daniel.
Watershed Advisory Committee.
Yeah, okay. The Watershed Advisory Committee, or as an active participant in the JPA itself. So we're not making that decision at this point. What we're really doing is saying, yes, we approve of the plan for the projects that we have submitted, and that we support that plan. And again, there's nothing, as Ms. Carrillo will probably bear out, there's nothing that can make any agreement. There'll be some legal issues or legal liabilities. I don't see any significant ones for the county in this. So I think it's a very important thing for our county to do, to approve this plan. It leaves us options, and it really doesn't encumber us in any significant way that I can figure out.
Okay, anybody else want to make a comment?
I do.
Supervisor Royce.
Yeah, I agree with what Supervisor Rotifer's saying. There's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, I think, about IRWIM. The process has taken a long time. That's part of what collaboration is. But I think it is good to do that. I don't particularly like the fact that we're setting up a government entity to deal with grant funding, but that's the way the state has basically structured the future of water funding. If you look at the water code that was referred to in here regarding integrated regional water management plans, I have concerns. I read that. It's Division 6, Section 2.2 of the water code. It talks, one of the very first things it talks about is groundwater monitoring, and I think they're laying the framework for future regulation with this type of thing. I have some questions that I think probably council could answer regarding our ability to get out of this in the future if we didn't like it. I have concern that once we take money, if we do submit a project, that we can't get out of it. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I know to get money, you have to adopt it. So does that mean once you take the money, you're stuck, or how does that work?
You know, I haven't looked into that specific issue, but I think it's going to depend on the project and how far along in the process the project, because certainly, as you know, there's always some strings tied when you're taking grant money. So I don't think we could just easily get out of it. However, the next item you'll be discussing the JPA issue, and that does have some ability to withdraw or terminate from the JPA.
And that's basically my concern. When you look at the water code, it's very open-ended. It leaves the legislature and the state a lot of room for future changes to these plans. And once, you know, we build the little machine, then they have it there. Like you said, it's a tool. I think we're even worse off if we don't participate. So we need to be involved. We need to know what's going on. But just beware, and we need to be on the ball.
Anybody else want to comment?
Just that those comments probably would be more appropriate for the next item about joining it, and I would agree with what.
Well, by adopting the plan, it's still, there's no reason to adopt the plan unless we're planning on trying to get funding.
Okay, I think you want to add.
Well, if we don't adopt the plan, then those projects won't be funded.
Right.
That's.
Supervisor Brennan, did you add something you want to add?
Just that, we had a very lengthy discussion in the Natural Resource Committee, and the entire committee felt basically that it is a tool, and it will either become a hammer or something that we can use to help us with some of our other issues. And so we felt it was more important to be, as a committee, involved in the process as opposed to standing on the sidelines.
Supervisor Rotifer, you want to add something?
Yeah, it just that there's, I mean, nobody, and certainly in this county or really anywhere in California, should be naive enough to think that the state agencies have very specific designs on all water in California, all the way down to groundwater. And absolutely, there are agendas out there, and we need to be on guard for those. But if we're not part of this process, we're really not on the train. So if you're going to have some kind of an effect on those kinds of things, I think you need to be on the train. So I support approval.
And I would also like to thank council for researching some of those concerns that I had and for including some of the comments within the resolution that help kind of mitigate that risk.
Okay.
Thank you, and I just do want to comment, Bev Shane actually drafted a lot of the resolution, so we need to thank her as well.
Thank you.
Oh, there she is. Okay, thank you, Bev. Let me weigh in on this. Look, the process is probably flawed, okay? But the water game in California is a zero-sum game. It is a dog-eat-dog, every man for himself, so to speak, and there will be winners and there will be losers. I don't think we can afford to accept the role of victim and sit on the sidelines. We have to engage in the game so that, in fact, we can represent the best interests of the people of Tuolumne County. And we have to engage in the water game at every level we can. We may or may not like the process, but the process and the rules of the game are what they are. It's either engage or not engage. We can't take our ball and go home. We have to play. So I don't think that this is an option. I think we have to do this so that we are in there, that we have a voice, and that we can speak for the people of our county. It's just that simple. Okay, since the board's weighed in, we'll take public comment at this time.
Good morning. Ted Allen with TUD. Agree with all the comments that have been made so far. If I may, just real quick, Supervisor Royce, as far as getting out of the plan in the future, if you have an accepted project that you have built or constructed, one of the things that is tied to that, as County Council was mentioning, there always are strings. One of the things that's tied to that is long-term monitoring on your project, anywhere from 5 to 10 years worth of monitoring. So it's not that simple as far as jump in, get a project done, and jump out sort of thing. You're going to be tied to it for a number of years after. So just to weigh that. The county has not, as of yet, proposed any projects to be included in the IRWIMP. However, next Wednesday afternoon, after our regular IRWIMP meeting, we're going to be doing a brainstorming session on projects for the next round of funding, which I believe applications will be due sometime around winter of 2014, 2015, first of the year, somewhere in that range. More money will be available for our region, somewhere in the $25 to $28 million range, not just for our IRWIMP, but the IRWIMPs, all of the IRWIMPs in our funding area. And I have some, I think, pretty good ideas on how the county could be partners with TUD, with the County Resource Agency as well, Resource Conservation District, excuse me, and on some stormwater pollution prevention and improvements for a number of our drainages throughout the county. So anyhow, just thought it would be good to mention that. Again, next Wednesday afternoon, we'll be doing the brainstorming session, so hopefully the county will be represented there as well. So, and if you have any other questions or concerns.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board, and the chair would entertain a motion.
Sure, Mr. Chair, I'll move to adopt a resolution in support of the Tuolumne-Stanislaus Integrated Regional Water Management Plan.
A second. Okay, a motion by Supervisor Roder for a second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comments from the board? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimously. Go to item 11, please.
Consideration of approving a memorandum of understanding for the Tuolumne-Stanislaus Integrated Regional Water Management Joint Powers Authority.
Yes, good morning. Daniel Richardson, Deputy County Administrator. Now that the board has adopted the actual Integrated Regional Water Management Plan for the Stanislaus-Tuolumne region, the next decision before you is whether or not how the board wants to engage with the IRWIM. There are 3 levels in which we could participate. One would just be as a public member, having the ability to comment at the end of an item or however public comment takes place within the IRWIM process. The second would be to become a Watershed Advisory Committee member. This is the ability to provide input and make recommendations during the WAC meetings, as they're called. There would not be any financial responsibility to pay into the process to manage the IRWIM. The third is the actual full governing board member. This gives us full voting privileges. It also gives us full financial responsibilities to help to finance the IRWIM activities, the management activities. So that's the decision. This was discussed once again at the Natural Resources Committee, how the board might want to participate, or the county, and it was recommended that most likely we want to be a full JPA member, be able to make decisions. We also, this was discussed, how much is the financial contribution? Is going to be a burden on the county's budget? It's unknown at this time. There was a straw poll taken at the last JPA formation meeting, and there were about 6, 7 potential JPA members who raised their hands saying our board, our governmental entity is interested. What that means in the end, I don't know, but at least the pie would be divided by more ways, less of a financial contribution, less of a financial burden to the county if more do participate. So the decision is yours, how you want to participate, but I think it would behoove us to participate at the highest level.
Supervisor Gray.
Mr. Chairman, the question I have here is on, the cost participation budget-wise. Will we have to come back to approve the amount? Okay, so that's clear. And then for the benefit of the public, would County Council explain the out clause on page 7 of this agreement? In other words, we join, we don't like it, how do we get out?
Sure. There is a termination provision that basically allows the agency or member to withdraw by giving 90 days written notice. However, this current document states that such withdrawal cannot impact any contracts, resolutions, indentures, or other obligations of the authority. And then if there's a disagreement, it sort of discusses how that would be handled. I did do a very brief review of this. I do have a lot of concerns. The withdrawal section is one of them. I think it needs to be tightened up, and it needs to be clarified. So I'm not suggesting that you don't give a conceptual approval of this, but I think there's a lot of things in here that need legal review and clarification so that it's very clear what the intent is of the parties.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comment? Supervisor Rutherford?
Yes. Having participated in some of the discussions on the JPA formation, my personal opinion is that we're still at a too early a stage to make a firm commitment. I think that we ought to, our goal ought to be part of the JPA, but there's too many unknowns. The cost of it, the out clause. I mean, these are tough issues that really need some final form for me to support joining the JPA. Also, the membership of the JPA, who are the partners that are going to be part of it, that would also play. I think that where we ought to be at this point, first of all, we need to decide also whether we're joining as the county water agency, or both. But then also, I think at this point, we ought to be making a very firm commitment to join the JPA contingent on resolution of the legalities and the financial aspects. So certainly, I think we would, if we decided that for whatever reason we couldn't join the JPA, we would certainly want to be on the Watershed Advisory Committee level at the very least. But I do think that we need to indicate to them, because part of the discussions are, okay, who's ready to stand up and be part of this JPA? So, that plays into the financials as well. So I think we need to show a definite interest to be part of the JPA, but I don't think we can, approve joining the JPA at this time. There's just too many unknowns.
Supervisor Royce?
I think that's a good way to look at it. I agree with both what John and Carl have said.
Oh, okay, I thought you had.
I'm also very interested in seeing the implications to whether it's the water agency or the county. And I think there's a lot of probably legal background that needs to be looked at, what the authorities of the water agency are, how that can work. I know, if we're looking at funding for stormwater projects and things like that, and it's through the CRA, would we still be able to have that ability through the water agency? Is there a way to make that stuff work? There's a lot of questions.
There are a lot of issues that we can look at. I do just saying this though, the water agency's functions are pretty limited per the code, and so the projects that the county can present are going to be much more broad and much more sort of encompassing as opposed to what the water agency can do. It doesn't mean you can't have both on there. It just means that if you're solely going to do the water agency, then the projects that you would want to submit would be substantially limited to what the water agency is able to do.
Well, the other issue is the water agency has nothing to pony up money with at this point anyway, so that would be another consideration in that discussion.
Any other comments from the board? We'll take public comment at this time.
Ted Allen with TUD. The agreement for the JPA that you have in your packet is the draft, and my understanding is currently at County Council for their first review. We get comments back, and then it'll go to all the various agencies to their legal counsel for their review before everything is finalized. It's gotten to the point where the administrative members, the County Resource Conservation District, along with help of our facilitator, have gotten this agreement to the point where they could take it, and to where obviously legal counsel needed to review and make comments. So I believe that's where it was at. As far as timing goes, we weren't expecting to see this agreement back from legal counsel until the end of this month, roughly, and then go forward in the month of December with hopefully memberships being adopted by the various agencies that are interested in being part of the JPA. So if you don't make a decision today, it's definitely not the end of the world. It's not going to be too late to make a decision in the next month, hopefully. Ideally, in January is when the JPA would be formed and payments would be made by the various agencies, and then we're off and running. Right now, the WAC is operating in a somewhat in-between phase. There is no real governing board or agency over the WAC right now, but we're proceeding with our work plan as it's laid out through the rest of the year, with items being completed and ready to go once the JPA is officially formed, then hopefully adopted, and we move forward with that.
Okay, any questions of the speaker? Go ahead.
Just a point of clarification, this JPA is going to really, when it does stand up, is going to have two not so distinct functions, but they are separate. One is to administer the approved projects from the last round, and the second one is to oversee the process that the WAC will do most of the legwork on developing projects for the next round. So it's both a historical perspective and a future perspective.
Yeah, that's correct. I kind of relate the two groups similar to what how the county does their committees, with a technical advisory committee and then a policy committee, where the WAC is kind of the technical advisory committee. That's the group that's really putting the projects together, getting the ideas together, and then sending them forward to the JPA to make the final decisions, or policy, if you will.
Okay. Thank you. Any final questions here?
Taking Supervisor Roderfer's comments into consideration, it appears to me that the amount of money that we're looking at is going to be far greater than the 66,000 if we're going to have to actually manage projects, and that if JPA is actually going to have to manage the projects, just looking at what it costs for Economic Development Authority, JPA, and others. So I think we really need to look at that.
Yeah, a lot of the management for the projects themselves will obviously be done by, like if it's a TUD project, TUD will manage it. The JPA will just be overseeing that process. So the actual manpower, labor, or whatever of the project management would be with the owning agency of the project.
Okay. Anybody else in the public want to comment?
Mr. Chair, just a comment. Timing, as far as when you bring this back for direction, the longer that you wait, the chance of the JPA starting to take on its a form that may be different than what this board would want. If you really want to get in, be it the water agency or the board, you'll have greater influence now rather than later, is all I'm making the point.
I was going to comment on that. It seems to me that listening to this and listening to our speaker from the public, that it sounds to me like we want to join, clearly want to be part of the Watershed Advisory Committee, participate there, and my impression is, and my feeling is, that we want to be part of the JPA. I think it's necessary we be part of the JPA, subject to resolution of the legal aspects. But I think we need to declare that intent so that, in fact, we can participate in that discussion as a player and more than just a sideline observer. So, I mean, that's where I think I'm hearing things go.
Sounds like a good motion.
Would you like to make that motion?
I would defer to Supervisor Rutherford.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I've got a motion from Supervisor Rutherford.
I'll second.
Okay. Do I hear any further comment?
I just have one question. Daniel, do you have enough substance to understand what the motion is?
The one question they're going to have is whether or not the board wants to participate as a watershed management, the governing body member or a watershed advisory committee. I just want to make sure.
We definitely want to participate at the watershed. My motion is that we definitely want to participate at the watershed advisory level, committee level. We also definitely want to be part of the JPA, contingent on ironing out the legalities and financials satisfactory for our board.
Good.
Okay, that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody got it clear?
And we want to participate in the process of ironing those out.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to ask comments one more time.
Well, are we talking about the county, the what are we? I can't even remember now. The
Water agency.
Thank you, John. Or both.
My motion is for the county, simply because we have the financial capacity to participate.
And it doesn't, if I can add a little comment, that is, it also doesn't limit our
Exactly.
our
Funding.
our function and our participation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Everybody got that clear? Last chance for the public to speak? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. County Council, you have direction to work with Mr. Richardson and Supervisor Rutherford to work out the details and bring back where we can finalize our participation.
Okay,
Got it?
yes.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Okay, can we please read item 12?
Consideration of approving correspondence with the California Department of Water Resources on the strategic plan of the California Water Plan Update 2013.
Mr. Richardson, that's a permanent chair for you.
That's why I sat. Daniel Richardson, Deputy County Administrator. Lucky number 11. Today we have the 11th California Water Plan. It was drafted, and we're bringing it before the Board of Supervisors for a portion of it to be considered, to provide draft comments on it. The State Water Plan is a very thick document. Supervisor Rutherford and I both printed it off. It fills a very large binder, and that was, did you print off all of it?
I have three 3-inch 3-ring binders, and they're all full.
There you go. I did not want to bring it in here. It's heavy. But it is online at waterplan.water.ca.gov, so you can print it out yourself. But it is a lengthy document, and there is a timeline to comment on the different sections of the plan. And unfortunately, the timelines are very short. And so we weren't able to bring this fully to the Water Advisory Committee to have them consider the strategic plan. We introduced the California Water Plan to them, and then we found out about the timelines. So we need to, if we want to participate in this comment portion, we need to submit comments now in order to meet the current deadline, which is November 18th. So contained in this water plan is, like I said, it's for the entire state of California. Supposedly they had participation for both North and Southern California, and they all agreed on the concepts and the strategies contained in this plan. So what we propose is a letter that contains some comments. I'll be honest, I did not get through all of all the sections, but I got through the executive summary and probably the first 4 sections where the meat, and made sure I got through those areas that also discuss the impact on the Sierra Nevadas and the area of origin water. And so there's a comment letter for you for your thoughts. We did receive some online comments from some of those members on the from the county's Water Advisory Committee. They seem to like the comments. I don't know if they actually read the whole strategic plan, but they agreed with the concepts. Just a note on what is contained in the letter for the public. We want to make sure that there's a greater emphasis on healthy forest management. Much of the plan seems to focus on the benefits in the urban areas, and while it does mention the rural, it doesn't specifically mention very frequently, what about meadow restoration, forest thinning, logging, healthy forest. So we want to make sure that there's a greater emphasis placed on that. Also, we want to make sure that they talk about government agency alignment. Of course, this is bringing together the federal and the state and local governments together to try and coordinate to make things happen. I want to make sure that, well, not I wrote in this letter that we need to make sure the federal government is fully engaged in this process. That while it's the state's water, the federal government owns 50% of the state's water emanates from federal forest lands. And so the federal government has to be fully engaged in order for this process to be successful. Also want to make sure that part of the water plan's vision says quality of life in rural communities needs to be supported. We want to make sure that this is indeed the case throughout the water plan, and that area of origin water rights should be respected and given greater credence throughout the plan. Those are just kind of the nature of the comments, but there's many, like I said, it's very lengthy. We could provide many pages of comments, but those are the general areas that are addressed in this particular letter.
Go ahead.
Water boy, back again. First of all, I think part of the responsibility lies with us that we got this late, but certainly this is a very voluminous plan. Like I said, 3-inch 3-ring binders, and they're packed full. It is in 3 parts. The first part is basically an overview of the plan itself. The second part consists of regional plans. I believe it's 13 regions. It may be 14 or 12, but it's in that range. Each region has its own water plan, and then there's a back end to it as well. The biggest part is the regional water plans. I have several concerns. Daniel mentioned several of them, but in so many ways, this water plan fails to recognize the nexus of the source water, the counties, the areas, the regions that are the source for water for the entire state. And I think that we need to somehow, through our inputs, make, and this is just the first input of 3, but we need to really try and change the emphasis. For instance, the last regional plan is the one for our mountain counties, which is the source for a vast majority of the water. Just the fact that we're last, I think we ought to be up front. There is a strong emphasis, in fact, the plan says it explicitly, that the best water management is regional water management planning. That, while that is true on many levels, I think that when you start talking about the regions on the coast, especially the urban areas, for them to plan in isolation of what's going on in the mountain counties area where their water originates, can lead you down a lot of slippery slopes that don't have a really good result. I think all of that needs to be integrated, and there's not that I can find so far, and obviously I couldn't speed read those 3 volumes in the amount of time that I've had, but I have found no recognition of the fact that there needs to be consideration across the regions and what the interregional implications for water planning are. And certainly, as we are starting to talk about more and more on a day-to-day basis, water, although a critical element for survival, is really in a management system is just part of our environment, and each part impacts all the other parts. And I'm thinking of the forestry management issue and what poor decisions in that area, what the implications for water, huge implications for water quantity and water quality are. And we need to start beating that drum, and I'd like, if we had the time, and I'm not sure we do, but I'd really like to see the language on that strengthened, get that discussion up front in our water planning, because so many of the decisions we've made in other areas just have terribly impacted in a negative way the state's water quantity and quality. So those are the things that I've seen. I'm a little disappointed that we have this voluminous a document on such a fast track. I'm not sure we need to do that. I would like some language included in our letter that addresses that, and I would like some language included in the letter, Daniel, that says that we reserve the right to provide additional comments on this first part with comments as we go down for Part 2 and Part 3. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the board wish to comment? We'll take public comment.
Thank you, and I apologize for a very bad cold I brought back from London. And if I had not been in London, I would have gotten on this earlier. I am here to suggest that this letter not be sent. And the reason I'm suggesting this letter not be sent is that Daniel acknowledges, and you all acknowledge, the letter only addresses Part 1 of 3 parts. The comment period for Part 2 is the day before your next board meeting. This letter will be construed, and I know I sound like I'm paranoid about water. I am paranoid about water, okay?
Thank you. I think we all should.
We share your paranoia.
You've begun to figure that out. This letter will be construed as tacit blessing of the entire California Water Plan, including Chapter 5 of Volume 3, Delta Conveyance. And I know Supervisor Rotifer and I have discussed this. Delta Conveyance is Jerry Brown's peripheral tunnels. There is nothing in Jerry Brown's peripheral tunnels that has anything that Tuolumne County should be interested in. There is lots that Tuolumne County should not be interested in. Number one, the water that's not going to go through the Delta is going to have to come from somewhere. And just think Stanislaus, think Tuolumne, think Merced, think Kissimmee, what have you. They're going to come after your water. All right. Number two, they don't know how they're going to pay for this puppy yet. We're talking $25 million capital costs plus interest, $50 billion. Jerry Brown is bound and determined to make this thing happen. A lot of that money is going to be federal and state taxpayer money, general obligation bonds, and if Senator Feinstein decides to cooperate, there'll be federal money. I pay taxes to both the feds and the states. I don't want to pay for that turkey, what have you. So I apologize that I didn't jump on this sooner. I'd suggest that this letter just not be sent, because it'll be, I know Jerry Merrill very well. Jerry Merrill is Brown's point man on his own. He will take this and he will say, oh, Tuolumne County thinks that the California Water Plan is really cool, man. Trust me. That's the way he operates. That's Jerry Merrill's modus operandi. So I suggest that we file a letter away. The comment period on the Bay Delta Conservation Plan is going to open December 15th. It's going to close April 14th. I will be here every meeting that you have, begging you that as a full board, and I will ask that you ask your colleagues, starting in Placer and El Dorado and Amador and Calaveras and that every board in the foothills mountain counties say, no, we do not want the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. We do not want Jerry Brown's peripheral tunnels. I don't know how to emphasize how serious this is. It is. You and I, most of you and I can disagree about a lot of other things, mines down in whatever that place is called, what have you. But on this one, this is not a partisan issue. This is war. This is war in California, and let's face it, we all know we are outvoted. And one of you alerted the fact that the urban counties, they've got the votes. This will probably end up as an initiative measure. Either because Brown can't find the money anywhere else, and he will try to run another initiative like he did the tax initiative, or he will somehow railroad this thing through, and my good friends, the environmentalists, we will run a referendum, just like we did in the Peripheral Canal, and we'll undo this thing. But I just suggest it's not the end of the world, but I will predict, because I know Jerry Merrill, I know myself, that you send this letter, and it's going to be construed as a tacit blessing of the California Water Plan, including Chapter 5, Volume 3, Conveyance Delta. And that section I did read, and it said, it had to say, we like BDCP, because Mark Cowan wouldn't have a job tomorrow if it didn't say that. So I suggest this letter be shelved, and that between now and April 14, through the advisory committee of the Urban Water Agency, that we really try to get this county involved in BDCP. We're never going to be a huge player. Let's face it, we're a small county. But if every county in the mountains, in the foothills, would go on record as saying, we think this idea stinks, that makes a difference. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, it's voluntary, but for the public, would you mind stating your name?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Jerry Cadigan. I'm a Sonora resident.
Yeah, I knew who you were, but
I apologize.
That's okay. It's a voluntary thing. We can't
no,
record it, but we appreciate it. Let me just, I don't know, do you have questions of Mr. Cadigan?
I was just going to say that this letter only responds to Part 1, and we will have another letter responding to Part 3.
No. The deadline for comments on the part that includes the Delta conveyance is December 2nd. Your next meeting is December 3rd.
I believe December 2nd is Part 2, is it not?
And that's where Delta conveyance is.
Oh, I thought I was in Part 3.
No. Resource management strategies.
Okay.
Part 3.
Okay, Supervisor.
And your criticism of the short timing is very valid. And this is part of the way they work up there. Lay this thing on you as we approach the holidays. Get your comments in, folks. And if you happen to be in London, which is what have you, too bad. You didn't comment? Bad. But you did. The problem with this letter is that it's what it doesn't say. So better to say nothing than to give half a blessing.
Okay, Supervisor Gray first.
Mr. Chairman, I believe it was in Saturday's Modesto Bee in the opinion section, there was a very good article written about the conveyance system, and I think about 11 questions asked that the state has no answers for. And if you can't answer the specific questions about, how much is it going to cost to maintain, and those minor things over the long term, it's probably not a very good idea, a very good plan, in my opinion. So I would, I do support the part of being against the peripheral canals as it's written right now. It doesn't make much sense to me. But what I'm concerned about is the lack of responding may kill us down the line as far as the ability to re-engage. So I think we have to respond in some way and say that, we don't agree with everything in the plan, and please don't take this letter as one that says we do. So if we can write something in there in such a way that would clarify that we do not agree with the entire plan as written, here's our comments on one, I would be in favor of sending it. But we have to be clear that we're not 100% in support of the plan.
I would go one step further and ask that you put an explicit statement in that we categorically oppose the Bay Delta Conservation Plan in its current form.
I agree with that. I think that we need a line in, and I think you said this, Mr. Cadigan, that we object to the very short review and comment period, that there are a number of flaws in the plan relative to certainly to rural counties, and I would go further than just the Bay Delta plan. I would go and say we oppose the peripheral tunnels or canals, whatever you call them. That just technically does not make any sense to me at all, period, one way or another. And I mean, we've discussed this at various meetings of supervisors, other places. I just don't see how you can divert water and not get increased salinity in the Delta, which is what everybody complains about. And I suppose you can do that if you take all the water. And I'm reading all sorts of comments from El Dorado County on the north side and probably further north down through our own about the impacts of this plan on places like Folsom and New Melones and other places. It's all negative, and there is no balance, in my view, to this plan and the whole water wars. I think you called them water wars, Mr. Cadigan. I agree with you. They are. It is a zero-sum game. I don't want to be a loser for the people of Tuolumne County. I think we need to be a strong position on that. So go ahead, Mr. Rutherford.
I would also propose that we direct staff to draft a memo for your signature from our board to every one of the Mountain Counties boards, soliciting their active support in categorically non-concurring with or not in opposition to those tunnels.
And I would include RCRC on that list.
I'm sorry?
I would include RCRC on that list.
I think RCRC and CSAC, too. We have to do both of them, and our legislators, including our federal legislators.
But I do feel that we really need to be on record to responding, so we have a stand.
I share that, too. I think, in all due respect, Mr. Cadigan, I think if we say nothing, that would be taken as, in effect, agreement in and of itself.
I agree. I think the best solution, and the problem is the deadline for commenting on the strategic plan is November 18th. What is today? Is the 12th? So we're talking a week away. But your suggestion of having Mr. Richardson rewrite this letter, I don't know, you can maybe do a committee or the chairman could, bless it, and basically disclaim that we're approving the entire California water plan. Make your point about forestry. That's a valid point. I ran this by John Buckley, he's a bad guy as I am, what have you. And Buckley had no problem with what you said about forestry in the letter, but make that point. But then say, we're not blessing the rest of this plan, and we sure as heck aren't blessing the Bay Delta Conservation Plan. That can be done in a few words, and I will be glad to, now that my cold is still here, but I'm back from travel, what have you, I'll be glad to work with Daniel and you and just come with the letter.
Thank you.
But I appreciate the comments you made, because I think that article in the Best of Video actually first appeared and second would be Peter Glick, one of the smartest guys on the planet Earth, what have you. And he makes that point very well. That's going on back and forth with he and some other people. This is not going away.
And no, it's not going away. Thank you. Any further comments? Any more from the public? Mr. Richardson?
Just to address the board's ability to comment on the next section to meet the next deadline, we could send a letter from Natural Resources Committee or the Water Advisory Committee. It wouldn't have the full board's signature, but the chair of that particular committee could send it under their signature authority if you approve that. Just a thought.
I'm not sure we have a Natural Resource Committee meeting before the 3rd.
And I'm not sure we're going to have a water agency or water advisory policy committee meeting prior to then either.
We could have, folks.
I think we need to, yeah, we could. I think we'll have the water policy committee meeting over turkey dinner at my house. I'm being facetious. I think that we need to include in this letter some language that says that we will not be able to meet the December 2nd deadline as well, but that we will address our comments in Section 2, amplified comments in Section 1 to meet the Section 3 deadline.
Very frankly, the schedule is unreasonable.
Mr. Chairman, I think we can do this if we put some trust in staff and our chairman of the board to make sure that all of those things that we have discussed are included in that letter, and have the faith that you will fulfill those needs, and if you don't, we can fire you too.
Well, we'll hang him from the yard arm.
That's right.
I'm good with that.
That sounds like a terminal sentence to me, but okay. If we agree with that, the chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the letter as seriously amended and approve the letter to be redrafted, and with the approval of the chair and his signature, that we submit the letter again as seriously amended.
I would second that.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any final comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. I want to say I reluctantly voted for that because of the sentence involved. I was a little concerned. But I'll take that risk. Okay. Let's take a 10-minute break and return to continue our agenda. Recess. Call our meeting back to order, and I think we're on item 12A.
All righty. Consideration of finding an emergency exists due to the rim fire and authorizing contracting without the competitive socialization of bids for the Ackerson Creek crossing replacement, and authorizing the county administrative officer to execute an agreement with Ford Construction.
Okay, staff report.
I'm sorry. It's the solicitation of competitive bids, not the socialization of competitive bids. That just, my world humor comes in very strange places. All right.
Maybe they should be more of a social event.
Yes.
In general, for the construction of public projects, the county is required to adopt plans and specifications and to comply with competitive bidding procedures. This process can take up to a month or more in terms of the project timeline. In emergency situations, the Public Contract Code and Ordinance Code authorizes your board to dispense with competitive bidding and the adoption of plans and specs if you make specific findings. And those findings are laid out in the memo to your board. To be clear, with this agenda item is completely separate from your next agenda item. It is not necessary to continue the local state of emergency in order to make the findings for the action that is currently before your board. With regard to the project, this is with regard to Evergreen Road. Evergreen Road provides access to the Stanislaus National Forest, Yosemite National Park, and the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir, and access to these facilities is essential. The Rim Fire, which burned over 257,000 acres, destroyed vegetation and impacted the watershed for the Tuolumne River, including Ackerson Creek. U.S. Forest Service hydrologists estimate that the runoff in Ackerson Creek will be 3 times its normal rate for a 2-year storm event this upcoming winter. The culverts for Ackerson Creek are not large enough to accommodate this anticipated increase in stormwater runoff, and the county's engineers have determined that there is a very high probability that the stormwater will wash out this portion of Evergreen Road. Past experience has shown that in Tuolumne County, severe winter weather usually hits around the last week of November. If this project were subject to competitive bidding, the delay would push the project past the commencement of severe weather, and it is highly likely that we would lose Evergreen Road. And rather than looking at a culvert replacement, we'd be looking at complete rebuild of that crossing. Ford Construction has been selected to construct this project in accordance with plans and specs prepared by the county. Ford Construction is able to construct the project in the very short time frame which is required in order to complete the project before severe winter weather conditions occur. The project construction is proposed to commence on November 13th and be completed by November 28th. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, questions from members of the board?
Just a comment, I want to thank, I guess it's probably Mr. York that started this process of identifying the problem and all the people that have worked on this project. And my question is, do we have the other parties all bought into helping us with the project?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Bev Shane, Community Resources Director, the answer is yes. We just received information this weekend that the U.S. Forest Service is going to be contributing up to $150,000 for this project, and we have contributions from the Yosemite National Park of $50,000, up to $50,000, and $25,000 from Hetch Hetchy. So we do have quite a partnership on this particular project, and we're very pleased if you will approve it today so that we can start construction tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, I just would like to add a couple comments. First of all, I want to thank Duke and everybody else involved in this thing because this is important. I suspect there's others, but Ackerson Creek is about as important as any access in Evergreen Road to this area. This is just absolutely essential. In my view, it's not an option whether we do this or not. It's essential because it's a pending emergency with a very high probability. You know, I said during the Rim Fire we weren't going to be another New Orleans because we weren't going to put people at risk, and we are if we don't do this, I think we are running a risk because this storm is going to come, and 3 times flow once the ground's saturated and you get a heavy storm, 3 times flow may be on the short side in my view, and that road, losing that road and then trying to recover is just an impossibility. So I commend everybody for all their work. I hope Ford Construction can do this thing on their schedule or ahead of schedule because I worry about rain coming any time, so significant rain. So with that, I guess I'll take any other comments from the board, comments from the public. Chair to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize County Administrative Officer to execute an agreement with Ford Construction in the amount of $145,000.
Can you make the findings first? That's the important part.
I'm going to have to borrow somebody's,
Oh,
could you
it
read the
just- this-
findings?
Here, no, here, I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you.
1 through 3.
Okay.
Findings 1 through 3?
Yes.
Will that work? Thank you.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously.
And this item will come back to your board on December 3rd because you will need to take action to end the emergency as well. So you'll see it again on December 3rd.
Okay. Okay, will the clerk please read item 13?
Consideration of adopting a resolution to either continue the local state of emergency as required by the California Emergency Service Act, Article 14, Section 8630C, or declaring an end to the local state of emergency.
Good morning, Tracy Riggs, Deputy County Administrator. The item before you today is not a new one. You've been reviewing this for the last 2 months. As your board is aware, on August 17th, the chairman of the board, who is also the director of emergency services, declared a local state of emergency. Your board ratified that decision on August 19th. I'm sorry, you ratified on August 20th. And the governor then also declared a state of emergency for Mariposa and Tuolumne counties on August 22nd. Your board has reviewed this the need for a local declaration on September 17th, October 15th, and it is once again time for you to review whether or not we will continue the local state of emergency or that you would declare an end to the state of emergency. As you know, the governor has granted Tuolumne County and Mariposa counties the California Disaster Assistance Act funding. That is a huge, huge support for both counties, as well as City and County of San Francisco, Berkeley, and San Jose. So we will have that tomorrow. Actually, will be the applicant briefing for that, in which all of those counties and cities will be coming, and the state emergency services will be here to review with those individuals what is eligible and the process in which they can make those claims. And I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Have we heard from the White House about our information and getting us a declaration?
As the county administrator came to your board last week, the federal declaration was denied by FEMA. They as in the state, and I and the other state, county, and cities that I mentioned earlier are working on an appeal as we speak. So tomorrow, after we do the applicant briefing, we will be sitting with the state agency to better define that original estimate that we turned in, as City and County of San Francisco has identified an additional $7 million in damages that will be added, and we'll resubmit that.
Mr. Chairman, a question I would have would be, are we in better position to keep this state of emergency in place due to the meeting that you're going to have tomorrow?
I'd recommend you continue the state of emergency until the federal declaration is resolved one way or the other.
I would be happy to make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Supervisor Gray and a second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comments, questions? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Item 14, please.
Consideration of approving the third quarterly status report on the Board of Supervisors goals of 2013.
Mr. Pedro, do we have time to do this before our 11 o'clock appointment?
No, you don't, Mr. Chair. You got these materials pretty late, so I'd recommend this be...
Pretty late.
Pretty late, so that this be moved to the December 3rd agenda.
Okay, so
so
with that,
move.
we'll just declare that a continuation until December 3rd. Okay. Ms. Shane, do we have time for any of your items? All of it, okay. Then let's go with item 15. I like that. We'll see how well you do.
Should I read 15?
Please.
Consideration of authorizing the engineering staff to prepare and administer federal funding applications for one or more projects under the Congressional Mitigation and Air Quality Program through the Federal Highway Administration.
Ms. Shane? Oh,
Duke York, Deputy Director for the Roads Division. Before you today is the item prepared by the engineering staff to administer federal funding applications for one or more projects under the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Program through Federal Highway Administration, CMAQ for short, with a Q at the end. The proposal before you includes a series of projects which would go after some funding. It's approximately $958,546 in CMAQ funds to be available for projects. These projects are to primarily a program to improve air quality and relieve congestion, and projects funded by CMAQ must demonstrate an air quality benefit. The most effective rate of public benefit for improved air quality with the least amount of cost. The engineering staff has identified the following 5 projects for funding under the CMAQ program. If an application is accepted, a more detailed project scoping will be performed and estimated. So the 5 projects are the Park and Ride Facility in Tuolumne, the Tuolumne Alleyway Improvement Project, a roundabout at Sanguinetti Road and Sanguinetti Loop Road, and then intersection improvements of Bonds Flat Road at its intersection with J59, and electric charging station and sidewalks in Groveland. The cost estimates are all broken down there, and I would mention that all 5 projects were presented at the Board of Supervisors Transportation Committee on October 28th, which recommended that applications be submitted for items 1, 2, and 3. That's the Park and Ride Facility, the Roundabout, and Tuolumne Alleyways project. And furthermore, the Tuolumne Alley project was considered a second priority based on availability of funding.
Any questions of Mr. York?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to mention that we did at the committee level look at these thoroughly, and it appears that the one that would maybe the most successful would be the Park and Ride Facility in Tuolumne, and I would be happy to support that.
Mr. York, where will the county matching come from?
Well,
there is a county matching portion of this.
Yeah, some of this funding we can also substitute. Some of it has lighting, so lighting district funds could be made available for that. But we'd also most likely be making use of funding we already have available.
Funding we already have, and where's that funding?
This money, the match money could come from RSTP funding through TCTC. We get an allocation each year from that program that is not competitive, and so those are sources of potential funding for the match.
So did I understand you right? We're only going to apply for those first 3 projects? Or are we going to apply for all 5 of them?
That was the recommendation of the Board of Supervisors Transportation Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Given the amount of funding that's anticipated, the $958,000, those, just the top 3 projects recommended by the Transportation Committee would exceed the amount of funding. Also, we anticipate the City of Sonora to also submit proposals which would then compete with our projects.
Oh, is Sonora going to submit a proposal to make up for the widening of Monoway?
Well,
I'm sorry, that's just an editorial comment.
And they would compete with the roundabout on Sanguinetti Road?
Well, potentially any project, because this is a call for projects from TCTC. So what they're going to do is applicate our proposals as well as any potential proposal from the city, and then TCTC would then decide which projects to actually submit to FHWA for funding. So yes, this is a competitive process.
I see. Okay. Okay. Any more questions?
I only have a quick question on the roundabout. Could that impact large truck traffic if they happen to, because normally now they access Lowe's and Walmart and all that whole row of stores from, the current access is coming down to the signal and then going straight down, correct? Trying to.
The roundabout would be designed to accommodate all sizes of vehicles, and we should mention that the roundabout is a mitigation measure for 3 projects. McDonald's within the city, the expansion of Walmart within the city, both of those projects are required to make fair share contributions to that project, as well as your own Law and Justice Center project. So it would be beneficial to have that constructed with these funds.
Okay, any further comments? How about public comment? Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll be happy to make a motion based on the Transportation Committee's recommendation. Forward that along.
Does that suffice?
Second?
Okay, a motion by Supervisor Royce, second by Supervisor Gray. Aren't you the guys from the Transportation Committee?
What?
Could be.
Okay. Is that a conflict of interest, counsel? Okay. Any
We
further
have-
comment from the board?
We have confidence in our recommendation, that's all.
I see.
Well vetted,
As should you.
as we have confidence in you.
I notice it's all in Tuolumne. Anyway, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Can we read item 16?
Consideration of accepting the annual report of the accounting activities relative to the county's traffic impact mitigation funds during the fiscal year 2012 through 13.
Good morning. Dana Vacarezza, the Community Resources Agency Business Manager. Before you today is the annual report on the traffic impact mitigation funds for Tuolumne County for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2013. I would like to point out that our Traffic Impact Mitigation Fund is actually a combination of 3 separate funds. We have the 1999 Road Improvement Fund, we have the Sub-Network Road Fund, and we have the Regional Road Fund. And in Attachment B of the report are the actual projects that are attached to each of the monies that have been collected for these funds. For the current report year, the beginning cash balance was around $10,100,000. Fees that were collected were $98,000. Loan payments for the Law and Justice Center loan that were collected were $335,000. Net advances made to the Solid Waste Fund were $152,250. There were refunds issued for $3,480. Project expenditures for $405,000, administrative charges of $945, sorry about that, and interest earned of $147,000, which left an ending cash balance of $10 million. There are some outstanding loan balances to the Law and Justice Center loan and to the Solid Waste loan that attribute to about $3.6 million for a total fund balance of $13.7 million. New for this year in this report in Attachment A, I did some notes to the report because, as you know, we've been committing a lot of money from the Traffic Impact Mitigation Fund towards some road capital improvement projects. So I wanted to give you an idea of what has actually been allocated by your board, what has been spent against those allocations, and compare that to that ending cash balance so you can really have an understanding and clear idea of what is the unallocated cash balance. So with that in mind, in the 1999 Road Improvement Fund, your board has appropriated monies towards the Monterey Widening Project for $3.182 million. The signalization at 5th Avenue and State Route 108 is at $2.273 million. The signal project at Standard and Tuolumne Road was $100,000, and money in the amount of $25,000 was designated to TCTC for the Parrots Ferry Road State Route 49 improvements. With all of those in mind...
Excuse me, can I interrupt you and ask a question?
Absolutely.
In reading the following items, the standard Tuolumne Road signal, wasn't that included in one of the other funds?
It actually is receiving funding from both the Traffic Impact Mitigation Fund and from the Tribal Road.
From both?
Both, correct.
Okay, continue, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the unallocated funds, cash balance in this fund is $1.9 million. The sub-network road fund currently has no projects that have funds allocated for it. And the regional road fund currently has $1.1 million allocated towards the Rahe Road at Woods Creek Bridge project, which leaves very little left in that fund after that allocation. So the total unallocated cash balance in the traffic impact mitigation funds is $3.8 million. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? I don't see any. So, any public comment? Chair would entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion by Supervisor Royce, second by Supervisor Gray. Any final questions or comments? Public, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. We've got two more of those. Can we do those?
Very quickly.
Okay. Then we'll go to our 11 o'clock.
17 is consideration of accepting the annual report for the accounting activities relative to the Tribal Road Mitigation Fund during fiscal year 2012-13.
Good morning. Dana Vaccarezza, Community Resources Agency Business Manager. Before you is the report for the Tribal Road Mitigation Fund for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2013. In this particular fund, we established the fund with the Tuolumne Board of the Miwok Indians through an MOU, and it is to help with the impacts from the traffic related to the casino. The beginning cash balance in this particular fund was $1.9 million. Fees that were collected were $120,000, and interest earned was $17,000. As mentioned in the previous report, we do have several projects that have been allocated funding from this particular mitigation fund. The first one being the signal at Standard and Tuolumne Road for $600,000. And the second being a chip seal that was approved in the capital improvement projects budget for this year on North Tuolumne Road for $215,239. Attachment B gives a list based on the MOU of the projects that are qualified for funding from these reports.
Any questions?
I have a question. Slightly off topic, but somewhat related. See if I can get away with it. The Tuolumne Road project, is that going to be chip sealed this year?
It would be chip sealed in the summertime, yes.
Oh, okay. I know they did some
So, no, not this year.
patching.
We did, that's preliminary work to get it ready for this winter, and then the actual chip seal would be done late spring or early summer.
Okay. Just to, I know those cracks got pretty big, and they chip sealed that with cutback, and it's bumpier than hell now. And is there a plan? I mean, is the chip seal going to fix that, or is it just going to be like that?
The chip seal would give us a uniform surface. So
It'll
that
fill in the...
Yeah, it would. Usually a chip seal, a good chip seal is about that thick. So.
Supervisor Royce, we can take this offline.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further comments? Chair would entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to accept the report on the Tribal Road Mitigation Fund as submitted.
Motion by Supervisor Brennan, second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comments? Public, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. And we'll take item 18, please.
Consideration of accepting the annual report on the accounting activities relative to the county's other traffic mitigation funds for fiscal year 2012-13.
Good morning, Dana Vaccarezza, Community Resources Agency Business Manager. Before you is the final report on our traffic impact mitigation funds, and this is basically a report on a collection of smaller funds that the money has been collected for specific projects, future projects to mitigate impacts to our roads. As I mentioned, this particular one includes 9 separate smaller funds that are all listed in Attachment B for your review. As I have mentioned in the previous reports, we also have committed some of these funds to do some of our capital improvement projects. Currently on the list is the Yankee Hill Jackson Street chip seal to be used with the Columbia Vista Estates Mitigation Fund money. We have a chip seal scheduled for Lions Bald Mountain to be used from the Apple Valley Estates. And finally, your board approved a transfer of the Preston Lane Estates Traffic Impact Mitigation Fund to the Preston Lane CSA, correct? To help with improvements to the roads in the CSA. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Public? Chair would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the report.
Okay, motion by Supervisor Rutherford, a second by Supervisor Royce. Any final comment? Public? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Ms. Shane, you're not very good with time. Okay, yeah, well.
You mean it's not 11 o'clock in Tuolumne County?
Oh, no, it's just fine. It's just fine. It will be 11 o'clock shortly. Okay. In fact, we will declare it 11 o'clock in Tuolumne County. Tuolumne County is just a little behind time right now, but that's okay. 11 o'clock in Tuolumne County, so we will ask the clerk to read our 11 o'clock appointment.
Presentation on the UC Cooperative Extension Central SEER 2012-13 Annual Report.
Looks like it's setup time.
Take 5.
There we go. Good morning, Board. It's Scott Onetto, Director for UC Cooperative Extension for the Central Sierra, and my watch says 11 o'clock, so
Perfect.
We're right on.
We synchronized
We
before
are
the meeting.
synchronized. So it is a pleasure to be here this morning to share with you just some of the highlights from our 2012-13 year. Hopefully you all received a copy of our annual report, and I do have extra copies, so I'll leave some in the back if anyone from the public would like a copy. We also have them on our website if anybody would like to see it there. I'm not going to go into all the detail that you have in front of you, but I was just going to highlight some of our activities for the year and, of course, ask or answer any questions that you may have. First off, I just want to acknowledge and thank you for your continued support for Cooperative Extension. We wouldn't be in the counties without our county partners, our state partners, and our federal partners. So it really is that collaboration between those 3 federal and state and county divisions that make us possible to do our job. Just as a quick highlight, many of you have been to some of our orientations where we talk about our different programs, but we really are here in the communities highlighting 5 major program areas. Those, of course, include agriculture, natural resources, our home horticulture, which is our Master Gardener program, of course, our youth development program, which is typically just referred to as 4-H, then our nutrition, family, and consumer science program. I wanted to just, again, acknowledge all of our funders that make us possible in terms of getting our work done. So this is a quick snapshot of our budget for last year for 2012-13. Our total budget was just over $3.8 million. That includes the work by our volunteers, which you see is a huge amount of just over $1.2 million. Our nearly 1,000 volunteers across all of our different program areas really do leverage our ability to get our work done. But the other major components, of course, to that are what I had mentioned, our federal, state, and county partners. And you'll see I did highlight Tuolumne County's generous partnership in our budget of just over $140,000. I'll just go back quickly and just make one other quick notion of our budget. As you'll notice here, there are 4 counties highlighted in this budget. The counties, of course, Tuolumne, but also Calaveras, Amador, and El Dorado. And that, again, goes back to a change we made here a few years ago in terms of collaborating across those 4 counties so we could better leverage our support and extend our programs and our folks, all of our people, across those 4 counties. And so, so some of the numbers that I'll show you today reflect that partnership across those 4 counties and some of the work that we've been doing. So I'm just going to quickly highlight just a couple of our different activities in some of our program areas over the past year. The first one here in our agricultural program, a couple of programs that just activities that highlight that I wanted to highlight and stand out for this year is a new project that we're doing across all 4 counties, and it's on powdery mildew monitoring and basically modeling. Powdery mildew continues to be one of the major pest problems for our grape growers, and of course we've got very adequate and good, reliable products to control powdery mildew, but the timing of those applications is really critical. And we've actually been working with our colleagues on campus at UC Davis, and they have developed basically a temperature-dependent model for determining the appropriate time to apply basically fungicides for the control of powdery mildew. And so we have been in the works of putting up some weather stations across our 4 counties so that grape growers can have live data and actually have live advice on when to actually make applications and what materials to use when. Another project that is ongoing is a project to determine the validity and also the efficacy of growing some new Christmas tree species here in the foothills. Of course, we have lots of different conifers growing in Tuolumne County, but from an economical side point of making trees for Christmas tree production and selling good quality Christmas trees, we're actually evaluating 2 new species. One is a Nordman spruce and also a Turkish fir. And we're looking at those not only from a production standpoint, but also whether or not those 2 species may have some resistance to a very common plant pathogen called Phytophthora, which grows in the soil. So that's an ongoing project. And then the last one is some work that we're doing also with foothill grape growers, and that is evaluating just how widespread some of the leaf roll viruses are. These are basically the viruses that cause our grapevines to turn red in the fall, and they can impact actually grape quality by inhibiting the movement of sugars in the plants during fruit set. For our natural resources program, lots of things going on here as well. We have a brand new staff person, a new academic. Her name is Susie Coker, and Susie is a resource to all of you. Craig and I were actually just talking this morning about Susie and how she can help possibly with some of the ongoing challenges after the rim fire here. We had a workshop just up in Groveland a few weeks ago that Susie had put on. So Susie is a registered professional forester, and her expertise is here in the 4 counties now. So it's great to have her on board as one of our specialists. We also have been doing a lot of different work with a number of invasive weeds, trying to control. The one here pictured is one called Medusa Head, which is really taking a foothold in a lot of our annual rangelands. But another project that we just are working on and got funding for is a project up in the Groveland area regarding Spanish broom. And broom is a noxious shrub that is, again, taking a foothold and starting to move up into the into our forested lands. And so we're trying to get a control on that plant. And we feel that this one in Groveland is an isolated patch, and we think that eradication is possible. So we just got a grant with the California Invasive Plant Council to get all of sort of the regulatory parts of actually doing control on both federal and private lands completed, so we can start work on that. And then a couple other.
Excuse me,
yes.
Broom, isn't that a common plant in
nurseries?
landscaping?
It is, unfortunately. So
you discourage it then, right?
So it is. It was brought here from Europe as an ornamental, and it's been planted widely for the last 100 years as an ornamental, but it is highly invasive. So it is, unfortunately, I would say, jumped the back fence. People planted it in their yards, and it has escaped and is now basically naturalized. It grows in wildland areas, and it threatens natural ecosystems by choking out native plants.
I only brought that up because I knew that to be the case. And
Yeah.
I thought you ought to make the point because the public is
Thank
listening,
you.
and
Yeah.
that we probably shouldn't be planting that.
We strongly discourage planting it. Yeah, we are working with the forest or the horticultural trade to try to get those plants off of their shelves, because it doesn't do much good to control it if people are continue to plant it. Thank you. And then just some other projects. We just finished up a 3-year project with our rangeland specialist, Dr. Ken Tate, doing some work in the U.S. Forest Service as it relates to the potential impacts grazing has on water quality. And it's over the last few years that has been getting more and more scrutiny, as I'm sure Supervisor Brennan can attribute to. And that report was actually just released here a number of months ago, showing that many of the concerns that have been brought up are not necessarily justified by sound recent science. And then we also got a grant this year to do a lot of oak outreach, so basically teaching the public about oaks, how to live with oaks, how to plant and build around oaks. You shouldn't, but all of those things. 4-H program, lots of things that I could say about this. Just wanted to highlight we've got some new leadership here in Tuolumne County for our 4-H program. Jolynn Miller, who's our advisor, our academic advisor for the 4-H Youth Development Program, has been on for about a year now. And then also we just recently got Melanie Ann Curtis, who is the actual day-to-day program development coordinator for that program. And Melanie comes to us from Fresno County, where she's had about 20 years of experience running that program there. So it's really great to have her on board. And then just an exciting tidbit about 4-H. I mean, there's so many things I could talk about with 4-H, but this year we're really excited that we're offering 4-H camp for our Tuolumne County folks. This is the first time we've ever offered camp here in Tuolumne County. Other 4-H counties have used our Camp Sylvester for many years, but we've never had our own organized 4-H camp. So we're very excited. We actually have 2 that our Tuolumne kids can participate in. One right here in our backyard, but also another one up in the Lake Tahoe region if they want to participate there, or they can participate in both. But it's really exciting to be bringing camp to our 4-H youth. And then just one project I wanted to highlight with 4-H is, I'm not sure how many of you attended the 4-H haunted house, but it just seemed timely to highlight this since it just happened here last month, and they just celebrated their 20th anniversary of doing this event. It's just become sort of a trademark for both Sonora and Tuolumne County to have the High 4-H group put on this an amazing event. They just do a fabulous job, and the proceeds to this event both help families here in the local community and also go towards a annual field trip for those youth that are participating. Our Master Gardener program is just doing some tremendous things. You know, we are continually training new volunteers every year, and they, again, extend scientific research-based horticulture information to the public, and they do that through classes, as you see here, at their demonstration garden at Casina High School. But then they also have office hours that they have in our office where they man or staff a hotline. So we really rely heavily on them to do some of those day-to-day phone calls from the general public. And then lastly, our nutrition program. It's, again, lots of different things in our nutrition program, but one that I just wanted to highlight is our CalFresh program, which is a federal grant that we get through the Farm Bill, and we're still waiting to get to figure out what's going to happen for this coming year. But this is nearly almost a $400,000 grant that we get to provide direct nutrition education to qualified families and youth. And so most of it is direct education through local schools, through elementary schools, and then also activities and classes for adults as well. And so it's just a great program, and we've got some great staff here in Tuolumne County running that program. And then one other thing that I would love to see brought to Tuolumne County that we're really shooting for this coming year is what we call the Master Food Preserver program. And this is a volunteer program very much like the Master Gardener program. But in this program, we train volunteers to be able to help the public with food safety, food preservation, canning, drying, dehydrating, all of those things. And we've had this program in the university for probably close to 30 years now. It's kind of gone up and down with interest, but in the last 10 years, we have seen a huge increase in the need for this information. More and more people are connecting with food. They want to know where their food comes from, but they also want the skills, and it seems like that some of these skills have been lost over the years. And so we actually just extended this program to Calaveras County this last year, and it has been an overwhelming success. We're getting close to 40 or 50 people from the public on whenever they have their workshop days on Saturdays, and so we would like to extend this program down here this coming January. And then so lastly, just a couple of quick highlights. Again, you know, we're here because of the partnership that we're affiliated with the county, and we've got a team of academics and professionals of just about 25 now. I think we might actually be at 26 across the 4 counties in all of those 4 different program areas. And again, just another shout out to our volunteers. We have just under 900 this year. They kind of go up and down every year, but we're right around 900 that really do make our programs the strength that they are in the local community. So for those that want more information about cooperative extension, I would encourage them to either come by our office or look for us on the internet. We have a monthly newsletter that highlights all of our programs, and people can find out how to attend one of our free workshops on all sorts of things. So with that, I just want to thank you again, and would be happy to answer or address any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions or comments? Super great.
Just one question, but first, this is a program that I always feel good about supporting because you guys do a lot, and it's just wonderful that we have all those volunteers that do work with you to get the job done. The question I have for you, put you on the spot, is how do you feel about the partnership? How do you feel, is it working?
I think that, yeah, you know, we're always finding new ways to make it better. We continue to be, as you'll see in the report, we continue to still be the only multi-county partnership in the whole state. We thought when we jumped into this endeavor 2.5 years ago that many others would just follow suit very quickly, and it's turned out to be more of a challenge, I think, the university. And it's not that it's not a great system, but I think there's just a lot of county dynamics. And so I think one of the fortunate things that I've been able to be at least attributed to some great counties that have historically worked well together which I don't think is necessarily always the case. And so that has made it much easier for me. I've got 4 very strong counties that work collaboratively together, I think, on a number of other issues, and so I think that has really helped the partnership. And then I think we have a lot of just similar issues across the 4 counties, which also just makes for a natural marriage or partnership. And so I feel very continued. Now we're 2.5 years, almost 3 years into this. I am still 100% confident that we made the right decision. It just seems like leveraging resources is just, to me, it just seems like the wise thing to do. And so I was telling Craig this morning, actually he was telling me from a meeting that he had, that he heard that there was some other counties signing on. And so we actually just heard this last week that 2 other different partnerships, I think, approved it this last week or the last 2 weeks. And so I think Madera and Fresno are joining hips and going to be going in together as a partnership. And then the counties of Sacramento, Solano, and Yolo are forming a partnership. So I think there's still a lot of interest in moving that way. But
do we get royalties?
Yes, I wish. They've learned a lot from us, and we have shared a lot in terms of the growing pains and making it an effective model.
Okay, Supervisor, I'm sorry. Supervisor Brennan, and then Supervisor Roder.
Yeah, I just want to put in my 2 cents. Being someone who utilizes cooperative extension quite a bit in professional arena, there are growing pains and challenges with these kinds of things, but I think it's been a resounding success in facilitating resources and getting a much broader width of professionals out there. And I think it's an example that hopefully other areas are going to, sounds like they're going to pick up on. But I want to thank you for all your efforts, and certainly for the efforts of the volunteer force that are out there, again, both in the professional arena and youth, just across the whole spectrum. So,
thank you.
I look forward to this continuing for.
Thank you. Supervisor Roder.
Well, I'll jump on the really feel-good bandwagon here. I think you guys do some great work. And again, I want to give a good shout out to all your volunteers and everything, and certainly you and your staff are doing wonderful things. My only question is how do you feel about the public awareness of your programs, and is there things that we can do to get the word out
Yeah, that's a great
more
question,
effectively?
and it's one that we constantly are we continue to feel that we're sort of the best kept secret, and I don't want to be a secret. We tell our staff that all the time, that, if there's ways, we're always strategizing on ways to get our services and our name out there, because, we are stretched already pretty thin, but I think we could be stretched even thinner, and we just need to make sure, with need comes resources. And so, we're always looking for ways to get our name and faces out there. And so, I still think that, a lot of people don't know what cooperative extension is. And so, it's certainly something that's always kind of buzzing in our ears and our minds of how to better get our image out there. So if you have any ideas, I'm well receptive of those, because we're always trying to get, look for new, innovative ways to do that.
Well, for all of you that have your radio on, I hope you're listening, because they do have some great programs. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with all those. Just very impressed with the program. I sat in a couple of your seminars, particularly the noxious weed seminars, for instance, with Vicki Helmar and you personally, and I'm very impressed with the depth of information that you guys provide. I don't know how a small county would do it if we didn't do this kind of cooperative thing between the 4 counties, for instance, and get all this information out. It's really a real godsend for us. So I want to say thank you to you and your team.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Come back anytime.
All right.
Okay. Well, according to my clock, it is, in fact, 11:30 in Tuolumne County. So would you read our 11:30 appointment?
Presentation on the Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau Annual Report.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Nancy Sykes, Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau. And we have added a little something to our presentation today. It just so happened Lisa Mayo has returned from the State Fair meeting for next year, and they already had our award ready to go and to be presented to all of you on behalf of the county. So we wanted to do it today, and Mr. Chairman, if you would like to accept this on behalf of the county, that would be wonderful. We also have 2 ribbons to present, so if you need more hands, maybe someone else wants to help here. The first is our gold ribbon, which we are so proud to have won now for, I think, 7 or 8 consecutive years. So this is for you. At least 7 or 8 consecutive years. Then we got a silver, and then we got a whole bunch of other golds before that. Anyway, this one I'm most proud of because it is only awarded to 1 county, and this is the Best Craftsmanship Award. So this one also to go on the Wall of Fame. And I'd like Lisa, as our project coordinator, to explain what this was all about, because it really was vintage Tuolumne County, and I'm especially proud of this year's exhibit. Lisa?
So with our new branding of Vacationland, we wanted to really theme our booth around that. So you can see from the picture here that we focus on kind of the retro aspect of Tuolumne County. We have in the back, you can't quite see them, but there were some very cool pictures of Dodge Ridge from the 1950s. And I'm talking about women in bathing suits and high heels in the snow, which was pretty fun. And actually one gal came through the booth and said, "That's my grandma," and I have that picture in my hallway. So it was a really neat booth for a lot of folks that know Tuolumne County and know Tuolumne County from, have known it for many years. So we had a high country diner there that highlighted a lot of our local products, and the kids were fascinated by the little fire that was fake, totally fake and safe. And then we also had a giant deer head that looked more like a moose head maybe over the fire. But it was a great booth, very interactive for people, and very well received. So thank you for your support of that project.
Set it over here.
Oh, all right. And again, thank you all for being a partner in this project, which we look forward to every year. And not all of the stress and hard work, but when we get there and we see the results, it's always worthwhile, and we hope we make you proud. Anyway, while we've detailed a lot of our marketing activities in this report, and I am not going to be touching on those, I'm going to ask Lisa Mayo to do a quick recap here in just a minute. What I would like to do is really to talk about what is the most important thing going on right now, which is our post-RIM fire and government shutdown recovery, if you will. I just returned from World Travel Market, which is focused on the UK markets, and where we conducted appointments with tour operators, travel agents, and members of the travel media. We shared our registration this year with Mariposa County, and my partner there was Terry Selk, who's Director of Tourism in Mariposa. And this was a very good thing to do because we spoke with one voice, and that one voice said the Yosemite region of California is alive and well. All of our tourism assets are still here. The national park was not damaged by the RIM fire, and that we are fully open and ready to welcome visitors from around the world. As part of the Visit California delegation, our Yosemite destinations were given special notice, additional appointments, and introductions to trade and consumer media representatives. Huge banner stands were everywhere. Anything that California sponsored, we had images of Yosemite, and they were very prominent. Visit California staff from our international offices were also there to support our efforts. Brian Wright, who used to be with Delaware North in Yosemite, in fact, he was the media relations manager for Delaware North for many years, is now the vice president of media relations for Visit California. So he was there as well and helped us out to facilitate our media appointments. And this was a real bonus to have California on our side throughout this show. Tuolumne and Mariposa County were contacted earlier, prior to WTM, by Visit California, including Brian and his team. Our conference calls have taken place on a weekly basis, and this is now called the RIM Fire Recovery Effort. It was launched with Visit California dedicating $250,000 for a media and public relations campaign on our behalf. And this is extraordinary because in the 20-plus years I have worked with Visit California on many different committees, I've never seen them be this generous with a single destination. They've always helped out on a regional basis, but never singling out one area for special attention. I've always stressed the importance of partnerships, and at no time have those industry relations been more valuable. As partners in the Gold Country Visitors Association, we had previously pooled our resources to hire a highly rated public relations company called Trav Media. They're based in New York but have a representative here in San Francisco. And because of this representation, Trav Media offered us free public relations services and press releases and access to all national and international media because of our crisis during the Rim Fire and later the park closure. Susan Wilson is our representative. She's with Trav Media, and she was also at World Travel Market where Terry and I participated. She continues to offer assistance and also press contacts at that show. So these generous offers of support will make all the difference. Even in direct advertising, our friends are offering some extraordinary support. Sunset Magazine, who we've advertised with over many years, is offering us some deep discounts so that we can do back-to-back issues, which we are definitely taking advantage of. The publisher, David Krause of Yosemite Journal, this is one of the National Park series. He offered us a full, not a full page, it's a half page of advertising, and we are sharing that with the Highway 120 Chamber of Commerce, and we're only being charged for a quarter page. He's also thrown in a lot of editorial copy that we were allowed to write, and at the same time, he's putting us on their website. So these are the kinds of things that we need at this critical time. And also, David, as an industry friend for many years, really stepped up to the plate for us. I know I've been accused of being the queen of co-op, but I really can't stress this often enough. I'm truly convinced that it's the only way to survive in the competitive tourism marketplace. So please read about our regional marketing and all the organizations that we participate with and the benefits that we receive from this participation, including a recent opportunity to host international tour operators and media through the High Sierra marketing budget. These partnerships can also benefit our local businesses and small chambers of commerce. As you know, there's a lot of need following the Rim Fire and the park closure. And we are using our co-op marketing fund to match dollars with Paul Peretti, for instance, who's publishing Explore Groveland magazine. We also use co-op marketing funds to assist the Mother Lode Roundup, the Celtic Fair, All Hallows Fantasy Fair, the Sonora Chamber of Commerce, and their special events. It allows us also to support the Ranger program, now in its second year, at the Highway 120 Yosemite Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center. 2 weeks ago, we hosted a team from Blend Radio and assisted them in doing live broadcasts from every region of the county, and with special emphasis on our Groveland and Highway 120 region. These travel and lifestyle journalists will be returning again in December to do more recorded broadcasts, as well as photos and content for their online blog, which I understand has grown almost to 800,000. So the impact should definitely be there. This relationship was built over a period of 6 years, and they pulled out all stops to help us and come here and do this coverage. We're also working with Larry Cope and have established a tourism recovery task force, which includes all of our local chambers, the Business Council, and others to launch an immediate promotion. As a group, we decided to resurrect something called Small Town Cheer. This is our first immediate response, and if you will recall, it has a microsite, a calendar of all events running from Thanksgiving through Christmas and New Year's. It will also be supported with print advertising and hopefully with some radio. We're negotiating that now. The goal is to bring visitors to our county from Thanksgiving through the New Year's holiday. And with that said, I'd like to introduce Lisa Mayo, our Director of Sales and Marketing, who I've asked to briefly go over this year's marketing, which, by the way, is ongoing and hopefully will continue and enhanced in the current year. Thank you.
Good morning again, Lisa Mayo, Director of Sales and Marketing, Tuolumne County Visitors Bureau. So this year, the 2013 vacation planner, you all have a copy of that. We did quite a redesign on it this year, and it has a fold-out map in it and a lot of new photos, and has been very, very well received. And we send out 90,000 of those this year, and we're actually winding down and almost about ready to run out because we've had such a demand for them, which is great. In August of this year, we began a really aggressive marketing campaign, thank goodness, because we really needed it. And that included many of the elements that we already do, but like print advertising and internet marketing. One of the things we did start in August was a search engine marketing program for the website. And so it was driving kind of the low-hanging fruit, people who have already shown interest in Tuolumne County to our website and letting them know what was going on in our area. And this was all pre-rim fire. So the good news about it is that throughout August and September, we continued to have increases to our website. We continued to have increases to the people requesting vacation planners from us. Our print advertising, one of the things that I look for when I do print advertising is there any way to track it? And I look for reader responses, and that is huge. And just this week, we received over 500 reader responses from both VIA and Sunset Magazine. These are people contacting us directly through the magazines to receive the vacation planner. That doesn't include people going to our website and checking us out online. Our print advertising, as I mentioned, does include Sunset and VIA, and then also locally we do advertising with the Union Democrat and special inserts like the Recreation Guide, the Know-It-All, and then as you probably know, they did a special rim fire insert that we participated in. And then also the opportunities like Nancy mentioned, the Yosemite Journal that come up. We participated in that. Our internet marketing with the SEM program I just mentioned, our web visits have increased 30% over last year to this date, and this is normally a time of year when we start to see the numbers backing down, but they're not, which is really great that they are holding steady and actually growing in some areas. Social media obviously continues to be a huge marketing tool for us. Facebook is our main social media that we use. And just since we did this annual report, printed it a week ago, we have over 550 more likes to our page. So a lot of people being driven there. Trade show participation this year, we got to participate in Sunset Celebration. And the way we get to participate there is they often look at how much money we spend on advertising with them. And it is one of those shows that everyone wants to be at because it's a great market. It's people that are wanting to travel. They're interested in food and all the things that we have here. So that was a really great show for us. And another show that I wanted to highlight is IMEX, which is also the International Meetings Exchange. And this is where domestic and international buyers come in, and there's probably about close to 4,000 total. And they are looking for new places to send groups, to send incentive travelers, for places to have meetings. They have clients who want to have meetings in different places. So we sell ourselves as a different place to have meetings, a unique place. You could have a meeting on a train. You could have a meeting in a historic hotel. I mean, we have a lot of really unique options that pop out at people when they see this. This year, our appointments increased to 26. This was a great partnership that we did with Blackout Casino Resort Hotel and also the Evergreen Lodge. And we were able, because of that partnership, to have a great presence there, a really nice professional-looking booth. And all. And in addition to the appointments, we also had a lot of people dropping by just to see what was going on. And I do want to mention that at that show, which was in October, not one person mentioned the fire, but everyone mentioned the government shutdown, which tells us that we need to be on our toes in case something else happens like that again. So we also made it into the IMAX Trade Show Daily, which is their daily newspaper, so to speak. And everyone, when you're walking around, everyone has this in their hands. And it was a great half-page article on Yosemite Gold Country and the various unique options we have for meetings. Nancy already mentioned the radio and blog media. We continue with that. And also work locally with Clark Broadcasting and have a blog on mymotherlode.com. For special promos this year, we did Restaurant Week. I believe last year when I was here, I was telling you we were going to do it, and we did. And it was pretty successful with about 7 restaurants participating. And this year we're looking at ramping it up, having a lot more restaurants participate and giving the restaurants a lot more options. But it will be January 19th through the 25th. And this is a great way to promote our local restaurants because we get to tag on to Visit California and their marketing of these restaurants as well. Because January is Dine in California month. So we also just rolled out our Vacation Land Values program, which is a program where visitors can go to one of our 2 visitor centers and pick up a little key card. And they also get a printout of all the discounts available that our members are offering. So it's encouraging people to stay an extra night, move around the county more, see more and do more while they're here. And they can find out about it before they come here by going to our website and clicking on the link. That shows them the most recent Vacation Land Value deals. Nancy also focused on the travel media relations, so I won't get into that too much except to say that this partnership that we have with Trav Media and our rep, Susan Wilson, she was able to get our press releases out post Rimfire to over 135,000 media domestically and internationally. And she called me and was so excited because the people that were looking at that, it far exceeded the industry standard as far as the percentage of people opening those press releases. So that was really helpful for us. Additionally, we were going to be hosting the Outdoor Writers Association of California in September, and probably about a week ahead, it was still smoky, and we said we really need them to come back when the skies are clear, and so they're going to come back in May. But while we did postpone it at that time, we did reach out to some of the key writers in that group, and had them come up and go to the Groveland area, Highway 120, look firsthand at the Rimfire and what was going on there to see, the real story there. This resulted in some positive press, and one of those things was, those pieces of press was an article in the San Francisco Chronicle by well-known outdoor writer Tom Steenstra, who I know in Calaveras when I was working over there, and Nancy here, we built a really great relationship with him. So again, I just want to reiterate Nancy's take on partnerships and relationships is huge and has really helped us out through this otherwise challenging time. So I'd just like to thank you for your support as well.
Well, in conclusion, on the very back page of your report, our film commissioner, Jerry Day, submitted his last annual report to us. And so, as you can see, we did have several productions in the county over the past fiscal year, including feature films, short films, television, and foreign production. And I think you all should know that our hottest location remains the Tuolumne General Hospital, which I just had no idea this was ever going to happen. And right now I know it's being occupied, but if it ever becomes available again, I think it's going to continue to be much in demand. So Jerry's analysis gives us an economic impact of about $297,802 for the last fiscal year. These are mainly small projects. We haven't had a big movie in a very long time. I don't see one on the horizon because of the competitive marketplace out there. But your Visitors Bureau is fully now responsible for the Film Commission, both financially and operationally. So we are going to continue that effort. We will be doing advertising. We will do the trades. We will do many of the things Jerry Day involved himself with, including the interactive website. We will maintain that and update that on a regular basis. So just a quick report. And again, thank you all for all of your support now and through all these years. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Just a couple quick questions. On the $250,000 that the state is going to put forward for the Rimfire Recovery Program, do we have any say on how that money is spent, or is it?
We will be submitting content, but they will be doing the placement. I think they've also garnered a lot of images from us, both from Mariposa and from Tuolumne County. So they'll be using our images, they'll be using our content, and many of our individual press releases in putting this forward.
Okay, and the next question on radio, are we going outside the local area for a radio ad? I know
yes.
when I listen to 680, I hear Black Oak and
Oh, of course.
And
Yes.
so it'll be an outside radio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we need to reach outside Tuolumne County. Clark Broadcasting, when we do advertise, they have a reach of all the way over the Altamont, so we are very mindful of that on two of the three stations. But when we're trying to bring people in from the outside, we're looking at the valley stations and anything as far west as we can get, maybe even into the Livermore Valley.
Yeah, where all the money is in the Santa Clara Valley, so
I know.
we could reach that
And that's the
direction.
most unaffordable market area to reach by radio, but we get as close as we can to that area.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else got questions? Thank you very much, both of you, and for the team. We appreciate all you do. And we need success in recovering from rim fire. We all know that. Okay, thank you. Well, we have a few minutes left. Let's see if we can do item 19. Would you like to read that for us?
Reports.
Okay, let's see. You want to start? There's a lot better looking people than you, and normally we start with beautiful people. But we'll let you go because I want you to know we don't discriminate.
Thank you.
District 4.
Other than meeting with a few constituents this last week, I have no report.
Oh, thank you. That was very nice. We'll go to Supervisor Brennan.
I have no report.
Well, County Council, do you have anything to report?
I do, just really briefly. The last week, Chris has worked on the Water Council retainer, which will be coming before your board in December. Liability claim settlement, the MOU with the courts regarding our law library, and some airport research issues. Carlin, as you know, worked on item 12A today regarding Ackerson Creek. She provided comments on Blue Mountain Mineral response to comments, and she's busy preparing for her ethics training this Thursday from 10 to 12. We still have a room available. I finalized an appellate brief in a juvenile case. I did a juvenile contested matter Friday, and I worked on some water issues for Supervisor Handbelt. Thank you.
I want to comment. She responded to me at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday.
And
That's
that
above
will
and beyond.
not happen again.
Okay. Ms. Jamar.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Mr. Pedro.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to pass down the dais. You'd asked about that educational assistance program. There's the details on it. I'm not going to comment other than it's one for everybody. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them whenever. The only other thing I wanted to mention is just my staff was able to go and have an off-site retreat where we can talk about workings of the office and the organization, and it was very productive.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Royce.
Sure. Let's see, on the 6th, I attended the Housing Policy Committee along with you. That was a good meeting. Later in the day, I attended the Biological Resources Ad Hoc Committee. Once again, we are moving forward. On the 7th, I attended Congressman McClintock's town hall meeting here, and that's my report.
Supervisor Rutherford.
Yeah, one of the beauties of having meetings every week, I guess, is short reports. On the 6th, I chaired the Tuolumne County Veterans Committee meeting that we have quarterly with the TCVC that manages our vets halls, and that went just fine. On the 7th, I also attended Congressman McClintock's town hall meeting. I thought that went well as well. And then this past weekend, I spent my time being, I guess, an honored veteran. On the 9th, I attended the Seventh-day Adventist service honoring veterans up at their church. On the 10th, I attended the combination Veterans Breakfast and United States Marine Corps birthday celebration, hoorah, at the Elks Club, and that's my report.
Thank you. Okay, my report. November 6th, I attended the Board of Supervisors Housing Policy Committee meeting with Supervisor Royce, and I think we had a productive meeting, and we'll do some more, and I'm encouraged that we're moving forward on that. In the afternoon, I met with Richard Stem. I think you've all met him. He is the consultant with the U.S. Forest Service on rimfire recovery. I spent some time with him. On the 7th, I met with Congressman McClintock briefly. I went to the U.S. Forest Service meeting with the ranchers and the permittees. Well, at least while I was there, that meeting seemed to be okay, but after I left, my impression is that meeting did not go very well, and I'm disappointed in that. I think the Forest Service needs to reach out to our ranchers and our grazing permittees to try and help them as opposed to just make things worse. I did make it back in time for the finish of McClintock's town hall meeting, and then I went briefly and listened to the Columbia College Community Chorus sing at the Festival of Singing. You all missed that. That's too bad. I'll have to tell you about that next year. Anyway, on Friday the 8th, I went to Willows, California for the Sustainable Forest Action Coalition. We talked a lot about rimfire and fire, and they're interested in taking a very active role in forest management in Region 5. And the Oregon people that were there, and there are a number of counties in Oregon that want to join the same thing. They are concerned about the same forestry issues that we are. Took a delightful weekend and did a little socializing with a little bocce ball tournament, went to a Celtic wedding. It was fun. Yesterday, I met Gary Severson. You've also met him early in the morning and spent a couple hours talking about rimfire. And in the afternoon, I met with Richard Stem and Tom Beto. Tom's with the Bear team, and did some more discussing about rimfire. Let me explain that Mr. Severson leaves us, I believe, on Saturday. There is no replacement name for him. Mr. Stem leaves us a week from today. There is no replacement for him. Mr. Beto leaves, I think, on the 22nd, and he believes his work will be largely done, but he's still got a lot to do. And that's the Bear team. I'm a little concerned about continuity and keeping the program going. The final item I want to report is that next Monday, Randy Moore will be doing an overflight with the Undersecretary Robert Bonney, who will be in town. I've been invited to meet the Undersecretary in the afternoon, and I will do that. And I will carry a message for us, and if you have any ideas on messages you want me to carry, I'll be glad to take that advice. I'd like to take you all with me, but that's apparently not allowed. But I will get a few minutes with Robert Bonney, and I look forward to that. With that, I think our reports are complete. I'm going to recess for lunch. We will return at 1:30 to do 3 closed session items. So we are in recess. Thank you very much. Oh, you want to read the closed session so we don't have to come back? Oh, okay. We're reconvened so we can read the closed session items.
Here we go. Closed
I'm
session.
not in charge here.
Conference with labor negotiators, Craig Pedro, Ann Fremd, Art Hardinger, Authority Government Code Section 549576, all bargaining units. Closed session, Public Employee Performance Evaluation, Authority Government Code Section 54957B1, and that's for the County Council and the County Administrator.
Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to make one last plea for you all to show up at Sounds of the Season. I'm going to keep track of names this year. If you don't show up, there will be a price to pay. At that, we'll recess for lunch, returning at 1:30 for closed session. CAO conference room? Yes. Okay.
Was that undue political influence?
What's that?
Was that undue political?